Alright, video's going. And the point of this video is to show you all the stuff that I feel like gets glossed over, glanced over, just kind of skipped over. When you're converting, you know, something like this TX, this Infinimec TX, from, you know, just that atrocious driver to, you know, something a little bit more high-end like a Manta 8. A Manta 8, M8P, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, clearly I had made some modifications before that, you know, I 3D printed this myself. You know, I had my own carbon filter. I have my own, you know, I think this is a $120 by $120 fan, I think. Let me grab the calipers to double check it. So what this is really going to show you is some of the less glorious aspects. It's one thing when you click something online and you click a driver and you download something to an SD card and you click update and it all works, and the next thing you know, bingo bango bongo, there you go, it's working, and that's not really how any of this works. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it that gets glossed over, skipped over, or even ignored altogether in these videos. And as painful as it might be, that's what I'm going to show you now. So this is my Manta. A lot of people know, or some people know, that these two, motor 2 and motor 3, they actually split into motor 3A and 3B, so they use the same driver to run the two motors, which doesn't allow for the dynamic bed leveling that, if you notice here on its side, you have the two different Z screws. So if they were running off the same driver, you know, it would only be moving up and down. So by running your drivers on motors 4 and 5, I believe, you're able to run them independently of one another and give yourself a little bit of bed leveling. On top of that, this board came with a Raspberry Pi conversion board. Wholly unnecessary. Yeah, it was completely unnecessary. You know, I spent a little bit of time where you basically you get this thing as a pack. I'm sorry if I keep kicking the tripod. It's just kind of cramped that I haven't shot here before. But basically what you get is you get this kind of a starter kit effect, and I'll take it back apart again. And again, I added this heat sink. It comes, let me take the heat sink off. This is what it comes like, with your two RAM chips and your MCU, or vice versa, Wi-Fi. Then I have just an old heat sink that I chopped out of, God knows what. And then I have some thermal sticky tape. I know it's not the best stuff, but it works better than nothing. When I was running this in the Raspberry Pi mode, which, I'll just drop the chip. When when I was running it in the Raspberry Pi mode, this thing was running at like 65C, which was a little high, but effectively what you're supposed to do, Wi-Fi module here, they kind of show CPU RAM, and then you align this. You align this really just by the circles here, and then once you kind of wiggle it, you feel it kind of want to snap in place. It snaps in place. Then after this, you take a SD card. What's known is that you have to use less than 32 gigabytes, and that's not true. You just flash it. You Google it, how to ChatGPT it, but you could flash a 2 terabyte into FAT32 format. So you run this FAT32 format. You get on the Manta Tree website. They'll have a Linux distro with Klipper and everything on it. You get Balena Etcher or Raspberry OS Imager, and you burn it to the card. And then to get it to work, you don't need to jump it. Not in this instance. There is a jumper right here. You do not need to put the jumper in. All you do is you put this in, and then actually, let's see if I have a and then what you do is you update the SD card once it's on there. And I'm not gonna flip flop back and forth between the computer and not, because that's nauseating. But you just and find a power device that I can use real quick. Literally no code, low code solution. Once that's flashed on there, you go ahead and you update your SSID, and then you literally you plug it in. And so you update your SSID, credentials again. While this is plugged into your computer, you just there's a config file. You just open it in Notepad, set your SSID, and then you plug it in, and you plug it in. This green light will come on, and then after a little while, after about a minute or two, the board will flash itself, and you'll see down here that there will be an activity LED, which will status, and it'll flash. Mine, of course, is about to make a liar out of me. I'm about to have all kinds of problems, and this is going to turn into a troubleshooting video, but I like to believe. There it is. So now what you'd do, you'd run Angry IP Scanner, you'd run Nmap, you'd run, I think in MATLAB, you'd run IP search or something. There's a number of IP tools available. You'll find that mine came out to my home network 192.168.1.194, and there you go, bingo bango bongo. Turns out you don't need to do any of this at all. So even though it came with the Manta kit and the duck, didn't need to do anything at all. All you had to do was take your CB1 board and the same flash chip. You do nothing different, and you put it straight again. You line up the Wi-Fi, goes in the bottom. You line up the holes. You wiggle waggle till you feel like a little bit of the pins are lined up, and then you'll push until it snaps Once it snaps in place, you know, that's when you throw your cooler on there if you wanted to. But all you do is you flip it over, and where you have your system on a chip, you just put the card in there instead. Now, in this case, you run a jumper. So I already have it jumped. I'll take the jumper out to prove it to you. A little jumper right there. And what that does is that allows this system to run off this 5-volt source. You run this here. And then again, using the same power source, you run it. Shows your board down here is getting 3.3 volts, 5 volt. You're getting 5 volts down there. You're getting 5 volts here, and there's your green light. You look down here, there's a act. So you're looking for activity. Ethernet's kicking on, so it's letting you know network, something's happening. Kind of want to make sure that this stays away. Earlier I had it touching the back, and then like this light went dim. There you go. As soon as that act starts going, it's gonna show up. So yeah, the whole Raspberry Pi 4 thing, it might be better for a CB4 or something. Maybe if you want to convert this to a Raspberry Pi, knock yourself out. But wholly unnecessary for a CB1. And so yeah, as far as you're concerned, this thing's up and running. The next steps are going to be to, I have this dummy, header block in here. ChatGPT and I figured out that this is the bus that is going to run the whip it around here, the screen that's up here. The stock screen will run. The way that we determined it is that the first pin is some kind of enable or just not connected pin, and then after that you have, I think, TX, RX, 5 volt ground, and so that's why I have this 5 volt dummy that's gonna be just holding its place. And I'm going to do that in a couple places, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to sweep, you know, make all the connections. They do give you a good baggie of you know, header pins, which are good quality header pins, and just about every JST connection that you can imagine if you don't have enough already on your own. And so yeah, that's going to be my next step. So I'll break the video there to show you basically out of the box to get it up and running. Didn't bring up any code, didn't bring up any consoles. You know, I'll put the link for the for what you flash to the micro SD card. Also, how to flash it to FAT32. I'll put that in the description. And then, you know, from there, pretty much you're in. Once you're in, I'll also put in the description the root name, username, and then if you do want to use the original screen, like I'm going to be using here, I'll show you the instructions. Again, they're very light. I think it's 2 lines of code, and you're up and running. So trying to idiot's guide this. You get everywhere between, you know, the people that are like, oh, you know, let's intentionally short the STM32 and start from assembly code, machine code, binary. Let's do that. And then you've got the people that, you know, they do this all the time. They're like, you know, hey, oh great, we have the Pi module. Let's take that. Let's take the accelerometer. Let's throw a Arduino Mega in there, and we're just gonna dump it inside the box, shake it up, and there we go. It's gonna be going. So I'm just trying to go somewhere in between, like literally just how to put the thing together, not let the magic smoke out. You know, it also does know. I do have the confidence that Infinimac is sending me another one of these right now. It's in the mail, because again, the board had issues. I troubleshot some of them. I do have a background in this, so I did find a 0-day, but you would actually have to have the image that they use plus some of the drivers, the firmware. So yeah, I mean, unless you go out of your way to ask for those, you're never gonna have the two things that you would need to exploit the 0-day. But yeah, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and put this CPU cooler back on. It's getting a little toasty. Again, I know this isn't the best, but it's a hell of a lot better than nothing. And then once I do get something a little bit more robust, like I'm starting to 3D print enclosures and stuff for this, then I'll put the good stuff on there. But until then, this is what I got. So until next time, so hopefully soon, you know, see you guys then.